And we're back. Game number 2 of our leadoff best of 3 of the day. It's a Fnatic and Fnatic. Well, they started off not exactly the speed they'd like, as Empire absolutely rocked them in game 1 to the tune of in excess of 1.2k lead per minute generated. So that means in a 20-minute game, they ended up with like a 27, 28k gold graph net worth lead by the time all was said and done. And as Trouf noted, probably the more impressive thing is every single hero on the side of Empire had a higher net worth than the number one, than the number one farming hero for Fnatic, and that was the Ember Spirit. So that should give you an idea of just how that game happened to go. But time to shake that off and get going here in game 2. They pick up the Dazzle and the Venomancer. Resolution, though, got his hands on the Invoker. And I'll tell you what, man, it's a bold statement, but I think Resolution has the best Invoker in the West right now. I really do.
It's definitely up there.
Yep.
He plays it a bit differently than most people, I think. He plays it a lot more farm-centric and just counter, split pushing idea. But when push comes to shove in team fights, he's usually much more farmed than other Invokers played at that time in the game. So, yeah, he plays his mid well. He gets up a fast Midas, I think, almost every single time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, 7 minutes or so with boots and the Null Talisman. And, yeah, I mean, he definitely plays it very, very strongly.
I tell you, even as I say that, I start to question myself. It's so hard to call just because the play styles of Invoker can vary so much player to player. You can play him, like you said, as a hard farmer. You can play him as a split push kind of hero that focuses on Necro Book and Exort build for the Forge Spirits. You can play him a Dindy style where you're much more gank-centric. Or you can play him in S4 style, pure Quas Wax, nothing but control. Basically you end up being like a 3.5 position. Like you're really not getting farm priority that much at all. And but I am just in terms of pure impact that players tend to have on the game. I think it's really between Resolution and S4 recently. Not to say Dindy's Invoker is not near the top of that list too, but I just love seeing Resolution play the hero. And they're going to have a bad rider to go with it. So 2 very, very strong picks. For Fnatic, I want to see what they do with the Venomancer. We've been seeing a lot of experimentation, not just from them, but from other teams regarding a one-position Venomancer or a mid-Venomancer. I feel like teams have kind of abandoned mid-Venomancer, which, to be honest, I feel like is a good call, even though he can be a bit of a beast mid. The way Na'Vi ran the one-position Venomancer yesterday was really entertaining to watch. Just rushing out a quick mech and then basically turning him into a team fight hero that lets you create space for a harder farmer. It was interesting, and I feel like it can work, but at the same time, I do feel like the Doom's almost a better choice for that if they end up doing it, which who knows, maybe they won't. Mirana will be the third pick up, and that could be the front of a lot of aggression coming out of Venodazzle, plus the Mirana, of course, with the Sacred Arrow.
Didn't Na'Vi lose that game with the Venomancer?
Yes, I said it needed tweaked. I said it was interesting. I didn't say it was super effective, all right?
I'm just giving you shit. It's all good. That was a game also I was like messing with stupid Skype crap and didn't get to really watch it. But Mirana here picked up for Fnatic. Probably going to be error on that, so I don't know. Again, it's very difficult to really judge what Fnatic is going to do because they are so off the wall sometimes. They may do things that throw both us and the other team a curveball. So Shadow Demon, nice setup there for Invoker, who's almost always going to be Exort if played by Resolution. Also Batrider with the lasso, good setup for the Sunstrike as well. And Shadow Demon's a support hero that's starting to come onto the scene a lot more. Oh, well, see, there you go. Earthshaker picked up, so it looks like it is going to be a core Veno.
Yep. I don't know. You can do some weird things, though. They could end up doing like an aggressive, I don't know, like off-lane Earthshaker, I feel like has really seen its time come and go. And I can't say I'm too broken up about that. They are on Radiant, so you can do stuff like mid-pull to the Radiant Ancient Camp if you really want to. I don't know. I agree with you, though. I think the Veno's going to end up doing something a little unorthodox. But coming back around to Shadow Demon, it makes me so happy because Shadow Demon was and is and remains my favorite hero to play in Dota. I feel like he's just so effective. He works so well with so many heroes. And, he's I used to always joke, like at the last International, when people would pull out those posters and, ask for signatures or whatever. And, of course, the players would usually sign. Casters would sign on top of their favorite hero. Always signed on Shadow Demon. They'd be like, wow, Shadow Demon, why? Because he counters everything annoying. That's why. You've got Disruption to disjoint those very, very hard to avoid heroes that are hard to avoid stuns and so on and so forth. You've got Demonic Purge, which means any mobility based hero is going to struggle against you. And this was certainly back at the time of like PL being way near the top of the tier list and all that. You can always disrupt an illusion and get an illusion army of your own against him and that. But yeah, I just love a Shadow Demon pick. I feel like it gives you a lot. And now a Morphling to come out in 4 position, so or in the 4th position, and he'll be playing the 1, I would imagine.
Yeah, and I think Shadow Demon is a hero that is deceptively difficult. I think some people could look at it and say that, oh, well, you just disrupt and then you shadow, you use your ulti, and that's it. But I think it takes a lot more higher APM to understand whether it needs to be a defensive disruption or offensive. Sometimes it's cut and dry, but other times it's not so cut and dry. And I think he's deceptively difficult. But when you have a good player playing Shadow Demon, it can be one of the most effective supports in the game.
Yep.
Morphling picked up here for Empire. Obviously, I think it's too late to pick up an AA for Fnatic, which isn't banned or picked at this stage. By the way,
shocking.
Yeah, kind of interesting. Although it would be kind of fun to see AA picked up. Lots of squishy int heroes for. Well, I guess they're not all int, but. Support heroes for Fnatic, but it is a good tool against Morphling, but you can't really pick them now for Fnatic, so.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I like the pick.
Just to build on your point, and I think this is the best way to put it, like with Shadow Demon, he's like, there are some heroes that are basically mechanically skill capped, like Invoker. Like you just have to know his spells, you have to know your full repertoire, you have to invoke very quickly and cast your spells accurately. And that's mostly has to do with mechanics. I mean, there is decision making involved, but that has a lot more to do with, like you said, APM. Shadow Demon is all about decision making. The right or the wrong decision in a fight, if you defensively disrupt when you shouldn't, if you offensively disrupt and spin that and put it on cooldown when you shouldn't, you can basically end up doing more damage than helping if you're not very careful with how you decide to use those abilities. And of course, Soul Catcher can be tough to get off onto the right target in a fight if you're not really, really practiced with it. And Shadow Poison actually has a lot of utility and usage as well, especially early on. I want to say during the TI qualifiers last year, Shadow Demon was the hero that actually racked up the most First Bloods because of that, for example. But anyway, yeah, great hero and a lot of fun to watch and a hell of a lot of fun to play. So if you're the type of person who likes to just play carrier mid, play some Shadow Demon. Learn the world of support. But the Ancient Apparition, as you said, has not been picked up yet. Looking at Empire, they've ostensibly got their mid, their off lane, and their number 1 position. Looking for another support. Fnatic going to go ahead and take a page from Navi's book and grab the Sniper. Navi running Sniper more often than most other teams. I think an AA would actually still work here if they really wanted to.
Yeah, I think so too.
The ulti, as you said, I mean, when you look at Fnatic, who's going to build a BKB anytime soon? Mirana and Sniper might eventually get them, but if we see Sniper played the way he has been played lately, that item never comes out, or if it does, it comes very late. Same with Mirana. And it's actually really easy to get Cold Feet procs whenever you have either Demonic Purge or Disruption. So long as the Cold Feet is casted before the disruption, or obviously with Purge, it becomes very, very easy. And I feel like there's a lot of roaming potential between those two heroes in that alone. So we'll see how Empire wants to play it out, but still a very, very big option open for them.
Yeah, it works well with the Sunstrikes as well, because if you're going to Exort Invoker, which I'd say 99.9% of the time is going to, if it's resolution, it can just be a beastly and sometimes extremely annoying combination if you get a good start from that team for the supports on the other team. It's going to be a Clockwork. So support Clockwork as it's being played by Always Wanna Fly. Yep. Interesting. We haven't seen this for a long time. It definitely is very strong, though. Like, it definitely is. And if you can get his levels, that hook is going to be so annoying for Sniper in particular.
When you run the support clock as opposed to the offlane clock, what it seems like it always comes down to is how those first few times of rotating out a lane go. If you're able to get kills and catch up in what you're going to be losing in terms of levels and experience, and there are situations where even as an offlane clock, you can't get a whole lot done because they're so effective at zoning you. You are a fairly decent target to dive, even though you have cogs. Before you hit level 6, it can be fairly easy to dive you, especially if you have 1 or 2 ranged heroes that can just do damage and avoid the cogs for all they care. But yeah, when I look at the draft, Fanatics has that thin feel to it. The idea that if they don't execute it just right, it could just fall apart in their face. Earthshaker's not a hero that catches up particularly well. The Dazzle doesn't need a ton of levels, but he needs to be played well, and he really needs the heroes around him to have levels. Venomancer, very much a hero that can only be so good unless he's staying on par, at least somewhere near the middle of the pack in levels. So if they execute well and their lanes go well, I think they're going to be in fine shape, especially with Hani on the Sniper. And mid-Sniper, I think, is going to be picked a little bit more often as we head towards tournament season, just because he does give you some much needed range and consistent damage in those lineups that are really lacking in sustained damage early on. But Empires, I feel like, has the much easier lineup to execute. They have heroes that have mobility built into them, either through global presence of Sunstrike or heroes that are just going to have like the hook on Always Want to Fly, Blink, Force Staff on Mag. They're going to be able to manipulate the fights a lot easier. And it's definitely going to be on Fnatic to really watch the laning phase. I don't feel like this is a laning phase that they can start out giving up first blood and giving up kills and ever have a chance to recover.
Very interesting lanes from both sides, actually. As Clock is kind of sitting up here, and they pinged him out. They saw him place that ward. I wonder if they have sentries already purchased on someone. And early boots onto Earthshaker. Looks like he's going to be blocking this wave as he's sitting here right outside the tier 3. Do they have sentries? I'm looking around. They don't. Oh, they do. They do on fly. He pinged it out, so I wonder if he's just waiting for the rune, and then maybe he goes up to there to counter it. But interesting lanes coming out from both sides, actually. Is it going to be just jungle? No, he's got boots, so yeah, I don't know. It's going to be like a dual lanes for both sides.
Yep. They're going to be doing this cutesy block the creeps. Now he's going to run back, get his mana, then come right back up in the lane as quickly as he can. Yeah, and we'll see where he goes from here. Always has the option to try and pull to the Radiant camp if he wants to. Era is going to go ahead and block this, and they're just doing everything they can. Yep, he's going to sit back here and do it again. So, no, and you know, this is kind of the issue I have, and we're going to hold that thought for a minute. As Vanscore found himself a DD and is rotating towards mid, this is the big weakness of a sniper. This is problematic. First point into Exort. There's a disruption. He has the DD, going to eat some tower damage. Resolution's right on top of him. They're going to try to stutter step this as much as they can. Do they have the damage? Vanscore actually did not get off one auto attack that I think he could have in there. Don't know that it would have made all the difference, but still a nice start for Resolution. And the thing is, you know, if Resolution were aware that was coming, maybe he could have skilled his Quas first instead. But for now, Mag being zoned out at top. And did No-Tail block down here?
Oh, I wasn't watching because I was watching
me
mid.
either.
But I think if he waited, like it was close, they got a little antsy because he did have DD. But if he was, I think, a little bit patient and just waited until Resolution hits 2, then you have a Sunstrike to work with.
Right.
With the disruption, and I think they get that kill. So it can be, like I said, enticing because you have a double damage, and onto a sniper, you're thinking, oh, free kill. But it's a little bit difficult at level 1 when you don't have any more spells on top of the disruption.
Yep, that's kind of how I was feeling about it too. Like it puts his first point into Quas maybe, and then waits for Invoke at level 2. Has a chance to get something off. But for now, they're rotating No-Tail around. No-Tail still, and you know, this is the problem. This is what I was talking about with this lineup. Whenever you do this stuff with the Earthshaker where you're focusing more on pulls and rotations and stuff, you're going to be so behind. And yes, you might end up helping your lane out a lot, or helping out a variety of lanes, depending on where you go to block or where you go to try to gank. But if you're not really effective about it, suddenly you're going to wake up and every other support on the map's level 3, level 4, sometimes level 5 and 6 if they've had an exceptional lane. And you're still sitting at level 2 on brown boots and 2 clarities. And it can happen very frequently. Clockwork has that same issue when he's running a support position like this. But for now, No-Tail just kind of spinning his wheels, not getting a whole lot done. Down at bottom, Trixie engaged upon, and First Blood goes to Empire. Good spot out, my friend. Up now, Hani. Cold snapped, eating a lot of damage. Forge Spirit. Oh, the fissure from No-Tail. That's going to end up being a nice return kill. And just as I was talking about No-Tail needing to get things done, he's there at the right place, right time. And bails, not just bails his friend out, but gets a nice kill that he was in range for as well.
Here comes the Sunstrike. Yeah, Sunstrike. Oh, no. Not quite. Hani, I don't even know if he knew it was coming, but you might as well try for it if you're Resolution. But
right.
Yeah, nice kill, nice rotation there from No-Tail. That's one of the best things about Earthshaker in general is not so much like you think of Earthshaker if you get a blink and then you have huge initiation, but I think the biggest strength of this hero is
Trixie's in trouble again, and No-Tail's there to bail him out. Silent might not give up on him, may continue to pursue him out. He does have his brown boots up, not the same for Trixie. Now they're going to turn around on No-Tail instead. Vanscore doesn't have a disruption. Trixie salved himself up, so he's in fighting shape if they had stuck around a little too long. But for now, they're going to go ahead and back off. So Fnatic is actually doing this pretty well. They're going with the style of bend but don't break. They gave up a kill, but they're being able, basically, the rotations from No-Tail are keeping them alive in this laning phase.
Yeah, it is, and I would say actually right now Empire their lanes were really smart. The only problem is with that death onto Resolution, it's kind of really set him back, and his CS is not where he wants it to be at this time. He's only 9 and 4, and Sniper's definitely got the better end of the CS here. And And Hani's going with a similar build that Dendy did. He's maxing the take aim, so wants to just completely keep his distance, which again, I think is smart, especially against Invoker, because Invoker, it's difficult to get your spells off effectively, namely Cold Snap, to combo up something when, you know, Hani's able to sit from like a screen away.
Fly's in a lot of trouble. As he went the rune, got there late, there's going to be an arrow. It's going to be sidestepped by Mag. Always want to fly just about on top of him. Does have cogs. Can he get there close enough? He can. And the double damage. Oh, no, he's actually going to be able to grave himself and turn that around. He may end up dead nonetheless. And no, had the wand charges ready. He does end up dying, but if they can get Mag, they do. That's a huge win for Fnatic. Trading away the Dazzle and instead getting the Mag in return. They'll take that any day of the week. And it looks like down at bottom, they did manage. Yep, Trixie's just now respawning, so he died as well.
Yeah, Trixie, he can't keep dying down here, man. Like, it's. I know it's easier said than done, but this is a Morphling basically in the off lane with SD roaming between mid and bottom. And look at Morphling's last hits, man. Oh my god. That's going to be very problematic for Fnatic. Now, that was a great trade for them. I will say Mag got actually really good.
Disruption in the mid. Sunstrike to follow. There's going to be a fissure to try to disjoint things. Moonlight Shadow was used as well. And they will get resolution. And Vanscore's not out of trouble yet either. Fnatic is looking like a brand new team here in Game 2. And they're still, you know, they're doing everything they can to stay in this. It's still at 4-4. Taking a look at the efficiency as we're at 5 minutes, we can actually see that even though they are trading, oh, wow, they're actually going to get Vanscore as well. Didn't even see what happened here. They're going to grave No Tail to make sure he stays safe. But resolution's there, as is Mag, and they will be able to get him with a cold snap.
Ulti onto Mag. Nope. Sniper cancels it. Yeah, I mean, these trades are actually quite even, as the score is 5-5. Oh, kill Morphling again. Tricks, like, yeah, this is what you can't beat Morphling, man. This is really going to come back to bite him in the ass.
Yep.
And, yeah, I don't know what's more to say about that, but Rune's going to spawn top. It's a regen. Here comes
Mag.
the ulti on the fly.
Yep.
As Mag puts him up on the high ground, but he's just going to say, no, I want to kill you.
He'll be able to grave, maybe. Nope, it actually didn't have the mana. High, says Mag. Silent. Taking a look at the net worth, Silent is doing a little bit more than benefiting from this lane. He's sitting at 4,200. He's almost 2K overall net worth ahead of the farming Mirana for Fnatic right now. So that bottom lane has been a disaster, even though Fnatic, for the most part, has been able to hold things together. But now they're beginning to fall behind a bit in kills. They really have to stabilize out. And what in the hell is Hani doing? He's got 3 Wraith Bands, 3 of them.
Wow, that is persistent Wraith Band build.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's, you know, I remember this was like popular, like, what, 4 years ago or something like that?
I used to do this whenever, like, when I first started playing Dota, that was my build on everyone, was either 3 bracers, 3 Wraith Bands, or whatever. No Tail. Gonna be tracked down. Hani's doing what he can, but they will be able to grave him. An official that'll catch 2. Let's see if they want to turn it around. Mag will be assassinated. Down he goes. So those Wraith Bands paying off, and Fly gives the old howdy do on his way too. So Mag and Fly having a little bit of fun together. And I love games like this where there's already some friendly back and forth in the all chat. But yeah, the up arrow shot just wide of resolution. But yeah, man, classic old 3 Wraith Band. Used to definitely do that when I was playing like my first few games of Dota.
I mean, he definitely gives him some good stats early on, and when he's going for this non-shrapnel build, it works out nicely because you're attacking faster, you're doing more damage. Sniper actually has really shitty damage in the beginning, like really bad. It seems nice because his auto-attack animation is like basically instant, but his damage is actually piss poor. So he's rectifying that problem by getting more Wraith Bands. I mean, it's not horrible. It is strange, but if he turns one of those Wraith Bands into a Ring of Aquila, I think it'll be fine.
Hope Merlini's not watching. He'll be so upset. Not a single point put into Shrapnel.
I'm kind of there with him. I think Shrapnel is really OP. Well, okay, I'd say really OP. I think it's the spell that makes him strong. But I think with a buff to take aim, I think it does warrant this build as being okay. I do prefer Shrapnel, but this build is okay with the buff to take aim.
Yep, it all depends on how you want to build him and play him, I think. I don't think they're looking to push a whole lot with this lineup, so if they were trying to execute a push lineup, there's going to be a Sunstrike. That'll catch No Tail. Wait for him right afterwards. And there's a fissure to buy some time. Silent's going to go ahead and back off, fearing what might be waiting for him, and for good reason. Fly was there once again. By the way, I love this Dazzle set, and at some point I will zoom in again and give Anuxi her her due, as I just think it's the sexy set that looks amazing. And I mean, he's carrying around a freaking Desolator. How awesome is that?
Is he really?
Yeah, that's what, like, yeah, if you check him out, yeah, whenever I'm sure there's not going to be action anywhere, I'll take a look. For now, flying, no tail, rotating the top, and Era is farming right in the face of Resolution, who has rotated away from mid to free that up for Always Want to Fly, who is still looking for his level 6. They'll need a lot of action out of him. Just heard an Assassinate. That was on Always Want to Fly, I suspect. But yeah. Resolution. Oh, the fissure was canceled by No Tail. He's playing quite far back. Does not have a point into Wex. There's a max duration, max range fissure, and the arrow to follow. They're able to bring him down, but here comes Silent looking for payback. Fly. Gonna grave himself. Mag's on the way as well. Do they have any detection? Nope, they've got Fly, so they don't even need it.
This is where he says hi.
Yep.
Say it, Mag. This is where you say hi.
We will see a TP away as No Tail make it back to safety. And Always Want to Fly does have a hook. Arrow is just on the other side, but with no vision, no way to fire him down. But yeah, 7-8. Fnatic is still keeping it reasonable, and it's just 1,000 gold lead right now for Empire. The issue is, that I think we both worry about, is who scales better late. Empire. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, they definitely have very, very strong late game here. Now, Hani, I mean, Sniper is very, very good late, and this is a good build for this game, I think, and that's what I was touching on in the beginning. Is it kind of makes him immune in mid lane for ganks because he can stand a freaking screen away, man. So I think in that sense, this build is perfectly fine for Hani. It suit him well so far. It is unfortunate that though when they try to go for tower pushes, that he's not going to have the extra damage from shrapnel. And speaking of tower pushes, that's the one thing Fnatic doesn't quite have such a good lineup for, except for the Venomancer. Speaking of which, he's getting ganked.
Poor Trixie. Not even going to have enough mana for his ulti.
He's dead.
Yep. See ya back at the fountain, brother. No reactions coming as everyone is mid protecting the Sniper. And he has just been the sacrificial lamb this game, sitting at 0-4. And just about...
Top too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, to a Sunstrike combination after Vanscore with the disruption into Soulcatcher. He's maxing disruption after Soulcatcher, by the way. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it is worth noting. No points in a Shadow Poison. There's that Midas up now on Resolution. And very typical stuff. I really like the way he plays Invoker. The Midas, he scales so well with levels that Midas becomes... there are some heroes you build a Midas on, and it's like they're not as useful. Like Midas's attack speed and everything else. But he, the Invoker is a hero that benefits so much. Now a nice fissure from No Tail. And the arrow to follow. So they're making this combination work for them and getting kills here and there. If Mag can get a return onto one of them, though, could be a bit different. And they're sending everyone up north. And there's going to be Silent trying to engage off of the lasso. Sunstrike will miss, actually. Mag's going to be assassinated and will end up dropping maybe. Yep, only needed one more auto attack. Yeah, they finally do manage to track him down behind that. Silent has to pull back as well as they're unable to get a single kill anywhere. And he did get the replicant off, and he'll go ahead and send that elsewhere in case he needs to head out. Always Want to Fly is making his way up. He's going to spot a haste rune. Will he get there in time? Hani's right there with him, and he does.
Arrow. He kills it.
Oh, yeah.
He killed it. Nicely played by Hani.
Yep. Didn't even pick it up.
Yeah, and he has that super, super long range now. 400, so his total range is 950. So far away.
Yep.
I will say that I don't think it would have made a difference, but I've seen a number of times where...
Oh! Vanscore caught with the arrow off the fissure. Earthshaker plus Mirana is working out pretty damn well. Silent, though, is continuing to farm up. However, the Sniper is making up some ground. Arrow's still quite a bit behind. But for the most part, Sniper has surpassed Era and is now within striking distance, about 1,300 gold behind. Arrow's going to come up and just show his face right to Silent. There's the Starfall doing some good damage and chasing him out. But yeah, I feel like Fnatic's playing this very well. 20 kill split right down the middle at 13 minutes. Very active early game.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that unfortunately Trixie gave up a lot of kills to Morphling early. Morphling now has almost 100 CS. And I'm going to pull up net worth now, and yeah, he's top of the board. But as you mentioned, Sniper and Mirana not doing too badly themselves as far as net worth is concerned. And I was mentioning that they kind of lack push, except for Trixie, who is maxing wards. So he's kind of the one saving grace as far as pushing nicely. Here comes an ulti from Potom.
No Tail leading the charge. Going to try to catch Always Want to Fly, or whoever happens to be there. The range of the tower, just right at the edge of where he's standing. And looks like they're not going to be able to find anything. Fly did drop a ward in the meantime. And, yep, they're just going to go ahead and pull back, play safe.
Yep, looking for an opening, but Empire snipped it out, and they'll be fine. I was going to mention that hopefully in the future we can see some more accurate Flaming Lasso plus Sunstrike combination. The one thing that is the little communication error there is last time he lassoed No Tail, he was too far in harm's way, like too far up. Arrow actually might take some damage here.
Gets off the Starfall, and we'll go ahead and head out. However, Hani's there, and he's having to morph strength. There's the shrapnel. Will he assassinate? Mag's coming to try to help out. And right there with him, Era overstepping his balance a bit. There's the Sunstrike on the mark that time, and a disruption. No Tail there with the Fissure. Actually caught no one there. And Vanscore, a bit out of position. There's going to be the Grave, though. And that's going to keep Hani alive amidst all of it. Trixie gets off the ulti, and Silent selling out to pick off the sniper, then going to replicate away. There's going to be a hook from Always Wanna Fly to come back in, though, and he's got more help on the way. Coming in from the north side, Trixie lands a Gale. That's going to be Silent looking to come back into the fight. He's very low health. And Fly and Trixie both could be in trouble here after the waveform, but no, there's a mini stun. And No Tail, I didn't see if that was actually, that had to have been the Enchant Totem. Trixie had his backside singed by the Sunstrike. But yeah, I wasn't even, to tell you the truth, I didn't see what stunned him in the middle of that auto attack, but he ended up dying because of, was the Enchant Totem, was it Poison Touch, or did you catch it?
On who? On which hero?
On the morph, when he waveformed in and was looking to auto attack them all down, and he got hit with the mini stun. Was that the Enchant Totem stun?
I'm not quite sure. I just knew that once he went in, if he didn't get the kill, he was dead regardless.
Yep.
It was kind of a silly decision for him to go back in. He wanted to help Clockwork, and by the way, Clockwork went into like 4 heroes when a Morphling replicated out. That was kind of some miscommunication there, I think, from Empire. And then Morphling came back. He was like, "What? Yeah, you're actually kind of doing a lot of damage to Dazzle there. Let me help you out." But then he waveformed and couldn't, he kind of split the goalposts, as you say.
What a fissure. They're going to follow that up with an arrow, and Silent has the more strength again. There's the Enchant Totem one more time. He had help coming in, but they're going to give him a lot of free damage. But yeah, and by the way, it was definitely the Enchant Totem. Just got the thumbs up from Conrad, who confirmed that was correct. I incorrectly called it a mini stun the first time. Mag's going to find a DD rune. And we've got Resolution going to work on Roshan all by his lonesome. We'll see if Fnatic's going to spot it out, if they're going to end up giving it up for free.
It's very low already. And he's got the lack of good damage and minor attack speed. This should go down. I don't think Fnatic has any vision of this.
Yep, doesn't look like they have any idea. Hani's going with 3 Wraithband Yasha. So he is not taking the Dindy-esque approach of the Blink Dagger and the such. Mag's going to be hit with a Fissure, but they know that Roche is dropped. And Resolution's the one that picked that up. And we can see Resolution, uncharacteristically, is actually down near the middle of the packet net worth. Usually he's near the top.
Yeah, he's gone for Phase Boots too. I think he usually gets treads. So changing up his build based on how well he's farming is a smart thing to do. I think he just wants to be a little bit more mobile with all the stuns. You know, the long range from Hani, so he goes for the Phase Boots instead this game, which is fine. Hani, as far as his build goes, he's going to go for a Saint Yasha, and his whole idea is just to be as far back in the fights as possible, be a nuisance, and get tons of headshot procs from very, very long distance away. And as long as you position yourself correctly, this is perfectly fine. And he's going to do a lot of damage in fights.
Yep. Like the SMY build, honestly would not mind seeing a Mask of Madness after that. And Fly catches almost everyone with the weave there just to allow them a little extra time to push. Resolution's in range, going to lead with the Forged Spirits. Up to the north, Mag has a DD. With a little bit of time left on it. Tower's going to drop for free, though, and they're just going to try to trade Tier 1. However, it's just Vanscore and Always Wanna Fly pushing it top, so not exactly a lot of push potential there. Silent continuing to find CS and will prompt a reaction down the bottom. That'll just be Trixie, though. And looks like he will be going Lincoln Spheres. He has the Ultimate Orb and the recipe up, so should have it very soon.
Oh, for Morphling, right? Okay.
Yep.
Nice deny by Resolution onto the mid tower. That's going to mitigate a lot of goals for them. Some action coming perhaps bottom. This should get denied, though, from Fnatic. Yeah, Trixie's going to deny that. So double deny from both towers here. Haster popped up. Here comes a Mirana ulti, though.
Yep, Mag in the jungle along with Silent. And just taking the creeps where he can. Let's see if they can get a pick. They know where Silent is. They're going to go ahead and give the end around. We just heard an assassinate. In the meantime, there's going to be a big Echo Slam followed up with the ultimate. The Enchant Totem and the Fissure isn't enough. Silent's trying. No, here comes Always Wanna Fly. there to bail him out, and Mag there to follow it up with the flame break. Era setting up position here, might toss an arrow, and will. That's going to be caught by Mag, and the Assassinate connects on Silent. The rest of Empire trying to bail out. Beautiful fissure. Secured the kill on the Bad Rider as well as the clock, and now Vanscore being dove back behind his own tier 1. Fnatic has cracked it. Was a back and forth affair, but not anymore. 4-0 in that exchange. They're going to end up getting at least 1 tower, maybe more.
Their heroes just have so much range. Like the Fissure stun is so far away. I feel like the Earthshaker pick here is the glue that's really holding this all together. And No-Tail's playing fantastically. He also now has enough money for his Blink. So he's got Boots, Magic Wand, Soul Ring, and now Blink. And yeah, these Echo Slams, this is only level 1, by the way. It's going to do so much damage once he hits level 11. Resolution, again, doing his split push thing. This is kind of signature Resolution Invoker, as he's not really, as you would say, tardy to the party. He's just not even showing up.
Yep.
And it's his style, but I think that Empire's going to start to need him in these fights because, like I said, Fnatic's team fighting right now is phenomenal, and it really comes down to how much range they have. And it's all spread out, too, with Plague Wards, Snipers, auto attacks, and then, like I said, No-Tail's just playing phenomenally with 4, 1, and 12 for him.
Yep, you can see Fnatic now sole owners of the largest gold lead in the game, which is still quite marginal at 2K at 20 minutes. Experience is sitting at right at the 0 mark, so a very, very close game. And this is, you know, again, that's great, and they're trading well. And if they can get a few more of those fights under their belt, they're going to be fine. But now that Lincoln's is up on the Morph, and again, I just like Empire's lineup so much more in the late game that I worry that as much as they're getting done, and they did a good job there translating that to not even a 4-0, but also getting 2 towers off of it. They did end up losing 1 of their own. But I feel like they need to continue to do this. They need that success at least 1 or 2 more times, or they could end up finding themselves in the late game and just not scaling and developing out nearly as well as what I think Empire is going to. And now, potential for a big fight. Yep, here we go. No-Tail comes in, hits a fissure on 2. Disruption's there. Always Want to Fly comes in, gets down the cogs. But Resolution loses the Aegis. It was going to be reclaimed soon. Beautiful 3-man waveform, and they come back. There's going to be an Echo Slam from No-Tail just before he dies, and there's going to be a deafening blast that finishes off the Earthshaker behind it. Mag didn't... Oh, I thought he was shooting at Mag. I didn't even see who he assassinated there. It's going to be Silent, who sidesteps the arrow just by the skin of his teeth. Hani's not done, though. He's going to try to follow him up. And Silent has to morph even more strength, so Fnatic ends up going 1 for 1 there. But asserting their own dominance. And they managed to get the Aegis off of Resolution as well. Roche will be respawning here soon, but that's probably the one good thing for Empire there. They lost the Aegis, but it was going to expire within about 30 to 60 seconds anyway.
You thank God for the Aegis if you're Empire, because if he died and didn't have the Aegis, I feel like that's a team fight. Or like for Empire, I feel like they would have had any means. Oh, here comes the lasso arm. Can they get any combinations? Well, let us get the grape off in time. So yeah, they can. So nicely played by them. I will say that Fnatic, like just right now, 5v5, their team fight is just so strong. But the problem that you come into with Empire, against Empire, they have a bat. They're able to fight a fight. Silent. They're able to fight a fight for V5 right off the get-go if Bat can get a good initiations. It kind of it's a little bit even at this point. It's very fun to watch. Both kind of ping-pong.
And Fnatic now tucked up under their tier 1 in mid. Very close game, as you were talking about. Book 3 is done on Resolution. The Maelstrom complete on Era, as he looks to go for a Mjolnir build, one would imagine. Very, very popular. Honestly, probably the most common item build you see on Mirana now. And Silent just continuing to farm away. And he's not on top of the net worth anymore, though. He and Resolution are both hovering right around 9,500, 9,700, but just a little bit ahead of him, essentially dead even, is Hani Sniper, who does have the S and Y done and now has 2,800 gold aside. What do you think he's going to pick up here?
For Hani, I think it's going to be a damage item. I don't see him going for KB because they have measures against it. They have just pure right-click damage from Morphling and Invoker. They have the Bat option. Could be something like, I don't know, it could even be Deso. I think it's some kind of damage item. Maybe even MKB.
I wouldn't mind a Manta style.
Yeah, Manta could be good. I have this weird thing in my mind, this weird OCD thing, that if I already built a Yasha and Sage and Yasha, I don't want to get Manta because then you don't get the extra movement speed bonus. But
makes sense.
I don't know. It still could be good.
a little bit more survivability. They're going to smoke right into Vanscore. And there's going to be the Echo Slam to lead, but always when it flies there. The good arrow from Arrow, though, catches him out. Disruption defensively to try and reset this fight. Pops the Blade Mail. Not going to save him, though, as he does end up dying. Fnatic tallying another 2 kills as Clock and Shadow Demon both end up dropping. Replicate out from the Morphling as he makes it back into the river. They're going to decide to go ahead and try to press the attack on mid to try and force them back, but Fnatic's ahead of them. No Tail has been playing phenomenal Dota on this Earthshaker, by the way. He's going to blink in. He has no mana. He's trying to get off the stun, but unable to do so. Ulti out from Trixie. The arrow's going to end up missing. The rest of Empire, though, will be retreating.
Resolution gets the tower kill with the Forward Spirits right before they die.
Yep.
Big plays.
And Silent. Oh, Assassinate. Oh, he does track him down. Hani got the Assassinate kill off on the Invoker. Another big one. He's down for 55 seconds. And does have buyback if he needs it. Don't think he'll buy back to save a tier 2, but this is just Fnatic trading better than even now. Silent having to head out, has his Lincolns popped, and will make it back to his own tier 2. Trixie kind of spotted out and surrounded now by Empire. Misses with the Gale. Don't know if they... Oh, there's the hook. Was going to say, don't know if they want to commit to it. They do bring him down. Blade Mail up on Always Want to Fly. Let's see if they want to try and pursue it out. Mag has a lasso at the ready and might want to go head hunting. Silence right there with him. And Vanscore is pinging the hell out of the tower saying, hey, need a little help here as the catapult is doing some pretty solid damage. Should be able to bring this down, though. Yep, and now they can deny it if they want to.
Yeah, I've seen teams actually leave up towers that are even so close to denying as long as they have a glyph.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why he's not denying it right now, because you can bait out people who are trying to, like, get the tower, it's one hit, and they jump in and, like, blink and try to get it, and then you just glyph it, and then you kill them. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. Here comes another Mirana ulti. They should be spotted out, though. They had a ward right in mid as they did it.
Yep.
So hopefully Empire, for their sake, knows something's up.
They're going to pull back for the moment. And there is an ultimate orb, by the way, on the way to Hani. We'll see what he's going to end up doing with it. Trying to bait it out. Yep, they're going to go ahead and glyph this. And come straight out now for the deny. And Invoker manages to get it. Here's Always Want to Fly. He's going to throw out the rocket. And looking for a hook. Don't know that he's going to go this far separated from his team, and he won't. But yeah, Hani's actually going Scotty. Yeah, he's got 2 ultimate orbs up.
I think that's fine, actually.
Me too.
Because his range is so freaking far, especially if he procs with the Sage. He's going to slow people down so much. And he's not if he positions himself correctly, that's the bottom line. As long as he positions himself correctly, he's going to have such a huge effect on team fights.
Fnatic has really played this well. When we were watching the draft, we talked about how they kind of had a lineup that was not going to do well if they fell behind, if they didn't execute well, if they gave up too much, and they traded even as long as they could, and now they're just making this lineup work for them. And Empire, even though they are back in the gold lead and slightly in the experience lead, is still going to face quite a test to make it through this mid game against this Fnatic squad, especially if No Tail keeps playing the way he's playing. This guy has just gone bonkers and has really taken this game over. There's going to be a great Echo Slam on the Silent. Can they follow it up? They can. Big kill as he's off the board now for 60 seconds. And yeah, like I just feel like Fnatic woke up between game 1 and 2. This just feels like a brand new team.
Yeah, well, I like their draft. I think Hani's playing really well. I think, as you mentioned, No Tail's playing phenomenally well. I think one of the things about Earthshaker is you need to be explosive and you need to be fast.
Yep.
Like, whether it's quick disengaging a fight by finishing just immediately to stop kind of, further initiation. Just impulsive and bam, blink ulting at the best possible time you can. He's been paying off for Fnatic.
Resolution.
Solo Roche.
Yep. Brings Roche down all by his lonesome. And Fnatic needs to decide what they want to do. Boots of Travel. Now up on the bat. He has a Mask of Madness. I've been hearing it all over the map. I was wondering if it was him. Never did check. Always Want to Fly, though. Hit with another great fissure and followed with an arrow. So they get a nice kill. Don't know they're going to be able to do a lot with it, though. Down at bottom, Mag and Resolution are going to go ahead and split push to tier 2. So Fnatic needs to commit to this quickly if they're going to at all. Silent needs to be careful here. He is surrounded, and losing him again right now would be very detrimental. Lincoln's is popped, and he's just helping to clear up creeps. Fnatic, though, once again, they need to make up their mind. There's an Assassinate doing a fair amount of damage. Down at bottom, just Resolution split pushing down here. They don't have a glyph, so they're going to lose this for free. And Fnatic has hung around and not really done a whole lot. They've got the Mjolnir up on Era now, and Little do they know, it's been 5-on-2 up there. They possibly could have tried to initiate. And instead, just going to play it very patiently. That's just going to allow more time for Resolution and Mag to push down at bottom. They're going to have to back off at some point. Arrow, off the mark.
This is exactly what I said at the draft, man. This is how Resolution plays it. Look how much damage this tier 3 tower is going to die, and he's going to need to back out. And they need to catch him here. They really need to. They're not going to. So that's free damage on a tier 3. They didn't get the tier 2 top, and they escape without getting hurt. So big win there for Empire.
What do you think was the reason for the hesitancy there? I mean, they only saw 2 heroes, and they knew Resolution was bottom. I mean, were they that scared of the bat?
Ooh, nice first step from Trixie, able to evade that ultimate from Mag. But I think it's honestly exactly how much damage Resolution could do with the. Well, he's got Book 3, and he's got a high spell into Alacrity with Exort and Wex. So. They just didn't anticipate how much damage by himself. Here comes a Murano.
Moving out undercover in Moonlight Shadow, and they might have a chance to catch Resolution. He's still playing very greedy, farming their own jungle. No Tail's got an eye on him. There's the Echo Slam. And the stun, the fall, the arrow actually missed, though, and doesn't matter. They're able to get the Aegis off of him nonetheless. So fair pick there. He's going to come back up. There's the Scott. He's slowing him down so much. Rest of the team's behind him. There's Mag going to get the lasso off on the fly, though. Pulling him all the way back behind the fight. We can see Always Want to Fly hit the hook on the Hani. This is what you can't have happen to your sniper, but it did. 3-0 turnaround, and now Era going to be eating the adaptive strike. Shotgun pretty good, last I heard. And now Silent leading the charge on the Trixie, looking to make it an ultra kill. Mag's right there with him. And Silent will make it an ultra kill. Follow-up fissure from No Tail to maybe slow them down. Always Want to Fly there with Resolution, though. They will get off the cold snap. Let's see if they want to try to press it up. And the Necrobook creeps are right there. Deafening Blast just short. Tower pecking away at these creeps. And we'll be able to kill him before they can finally chase down poor No Tail. In the meantime, though, that tier 3 is being pecked away at. They've actually got a replicate of Sniper, so that's helping out a fair amount, too. And it's going to be another 20 seconds or so until they're really in a position to defend. Glyph's going to be used. They're going to instead focus on this. The ranged racks, No Tail, back up. Enchants his totem. And it's going to be ready to go in just a moment. Down goes the range racks. Can they get the melee? 2 seconds until Era's back up. There's a disruption. On to Silent. And, yep, Fly almost bursted down immediately off the F-Blade shotgun build. Silent, though, in trouble again. No Tail came in, forced him out. Assassinate, not enough, and Always Want to Fly. And he just YOLOs it. Goes right in and is going to get at least 1 kill. Might get 2. Fly trying to trade with him. And, yes, the grave enough to keep him alive. That is a brave freaking Clockwork. Hooking in with every bit of 5% HP. Still managing to get a kill. And the rest of Empire finally going to back off. But the damage is done. The melee racks is standing, but just barely, though it is regenning. They did at least get the ranged racks.
I think he wound up the hook actually right before Hani's ulti hit him.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's, yeah, he wasn't expecting that. I think this last pick Clockwork is starting to really pay off for Empire.
Agreed.
Because that's the only reason, well, it's probably the biggest reason why that fight's so hard. Hani, as you mentioned, as we talked about, able to keep his distance. The best hero as far as closing that distance is Clockwork. And he hooked onto Hani. Doesn't have a BKB. I don't think that's a misplay by Hani. I think it's fine to not have a BKB this game.
Yep.
But if you can, certain. And he was able to pick him in a very interesting spot in the jungle there. So well played by Always Want to Fly. Hani got taken out as a result. So, yeah, I think this last pick Clockwork is really paying off for Empire now.
Yep. And now with Resolution having the Scythe of Ice up. And Morphling actually did get a BKB. So got the F-Blade after the Lincolns and now up to BKB. His net worth through the roof. And we can see why. He's been 8-3 with a crap ton of CS. He's on top of that. Not by much, but a 216 and the 193. But he put it all together, the kills, the towers, and everything else. And he certainly is in great shape. Always Want to Fly, picking up the Blade Mail, paying dividends for them. Going to see a flare shot out. But Fnatic, in the meantime, has gone undercover on Moonlight Shadow. It's going to be a smoke into a smoke. Bad news for Empire because Moonlight Shadow doesn't pop due to proximity. And it's actually going to end up wearing off. Now they know what's going on. They're going to try to jump in here. Trixie spotted out. And Mag's going to be able to get No Tail, bringing him all the way back. Here comes the Rock as well. Fnatic going to have to engage through it to catch him. Got off the Echo Slam before all was said and done. Fly, though, caught out with the Scythe of Ice following the Mnemonic Purge. Disruption onto the high ground. And they're chasing down Hani. Hani drops near his own high ground. Era making it a break for it and heading to the north. Let's see if Always Want to Fly. Nope, going to back off. Too worried about dying if he continued on because of the ulti. Mag's right there, though, and Era dodging the tornado. It's irrelevant. He's just going to turn and do what damage he can, but it ain't much. Full 5-man wipe. And that might be the turning point. Fnatic, who had played so well to this point, kept it close, but this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, my friend. The late game of Empire just coming into its own. The item development, the way the heroes function the later the game goes. Fnatic just held and held and held. They didn't break, but I think we might have just seen the breaking point.
Yeah, and even though Fnatic was doing quite well for the majority of this game as far as keeping the pace and actually leading in kills up until this point, I still felt like Empire was just out-farming them.
Yep.
They had split pushing from Resolution almost the entire game, and so they got a lot out of that. What Fnatic was doing with 4 heroes pushing, he was doing by himself with Necro 3 and Forward Spirits and Alacrity. And now that you have massive items, cheap stick up onto him, and the game's just progressed the way it has, I feel like Empire was kind of perfectly. And it also comes back again. Nice hook again. They always want to fly onto Hani. They had the 4-step onto him, but this wasn't enough. They 4-step Hani, and then always want to fly 4-step himself to catch up and close the distance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, well played. Again, I keep going back to this, but I think it's a big deal. This last pick, support Clockwork, which you don't see often at all anymore, has really paid dividends for Empire.
Another BKB done, and Empire just continuing to build upon everything we're talking about. I actually really like the way that Hani's build has worked out for him. I feel like he's feeling potent. The issue I think Fnatic's having at this point is they don't have any big meaty guy, any big brawler to sit in front and just, basically do damage and brawl with them. And keep them off of Hani. At this point, they can kind of sell out. I mean, Era's doing fair amounts of damage. I mean, especially when he gets the procs from the Mjolnir, and he has the lightning shield and all that, and that's great. But they honestly can just kind of bypass a lot of what they have available and just sell out on Hani. And if he ends up dropping, then all of Fnatic has to more or less turn around once No-Tail shoots his wand and once Trixie blows his ultimate. And their ability to sustain in these fights is just nowhere near the level of Empire's.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a lot of text saying that my mic is crappy or something.
Yeah, well, it's kind of going up and down in volume. I could still understand you, and it's just not the sort of thing that generally is going to get fixed during a game, so I haven't mentioned it. I was going to talk to you about it between broadcasts. But, yeah, it sounds like if you have a proximity-based mic, if you have like a cardioid or something like that, it sounds like maybe you're pulling back from it and it's not registering correctly. If that's not it, then could just be the connection, and we'll recall in between. So
yeah, it could be both. I'm just gonna blame Skype. That's just my go-to thing. Is just blaming Skype.
Of course, that's what we do. That's the esports way. It's always Skype's fault. Hani eating a bit of damage up atop, but look at him. He's tanky as hell. I mean, he's walking around with 2,300 flipping HP at level 18. And Silent continuing to add to his inventory as well. Has picked up yet another ultimate orb. So could be, I don't know that I've ever seen a game with 2 Scotties, but it looks like that could be the arc we're on.
Yeah, Scotty is, it's a legit item, man. It also looks really cool. How about that? It's reason enough to get it.
Is it Scotty or Skatey?
I say Scotty.
I say Scotty too.
And then I sing it with a Scotty Doesn't Know song.
Yes, exactly. I do the same thing. God, we're dorks. It's about time we cast it together. We're of the same mind. Empire is more or less starving them out right now, and Fnatic knows they really can't afford to get out there. They're more or less in the dark. We're going to have a lasso. Oh, that's the perfect target. Fisher could be there to disjoint it, but the immediate hex on the Hani. We'll see if he has buyback. He does, and he's going to need it right now as Fly's forced to pull back, and the Barbarians are at the gates as Empire chases Fnatic all the way back to the fountain and begins bringing down what remains of this bottom set of racks. They will use the glyph to buy a little bit of time. Still no buyback from Hani. And they're going to need it soon. There's an arrow on to Silent. Disruption just to keep him safe, and the weave there as well. He will be hit with the Gale too, so if nothing else, they're keeping him fairly immobile. And there's going to be a hook that comes in from Always Want to Fly, securing yet another kill. That's going to force the immediate buyback on Hani. Lincoln's popped, and they do manage to chase him out, at least temporarily, but I think they're just going to reset, rearm, reload, and go again. Mag actually just ends up blown to pieces. And here comes Silent popping his own BKB. And we'll use the adaptive strike. There's a grave onto Era. Hani back up and running. And Silent has to go ahead and take his exit. Vanscore's right behind him using the Ghost Scepter. Nice Echo Slam. And they may end up finishing this out with at least one. Yeah, they're not going to be able to get Silent. But No Tail hitting the Echo Slam and the Fissure, buying time for the Assassinate. Always want to fly, drops the cogs to try and secure time to retreat. And, yep, Silent going to go ahead and give him a how you do right in the mouth with the shotgun. And Lincoln's popped again as No Tail threw out the Fissure. And I got to give Fnatic credit here. They did quite a good job in defending that. I honestly thought that was game after you saw Hani get caught with the lasso, but it did cost him a buyback. So don't know they have one more of those in the tank, but at least for right now, they got a few more minutes to play.
Yeah, real quick, can you hear me?
Sure can. A little bit pixely. Quality's a little iffy, but I can hear you.
Okay, I switched my mic on Skype. I'm using a different one now. Hopefully it's a little bit better, but yeah, I mean, it's the farm from Empire is just really too much at this point. Looking at the graphs now, we're getting into that territory where it's 25,000 for experience. Wow, I didn't even think it would be that bad, but yeah, it's going to be hard for Fnatic to really find ways to come back to this, and it's going to come down to they just need extra damage now on Hani. This is a nice build as far as kiting and keeping people at bay, but it doesn't really produce much damage.
Yep. 28-30. Very close game by the scoreboard. Not so close by every other metric, as we can see the Bat now is actually more farmed in terms of pure net worth than the Sniper. Morphling has just about opened up a 10K lead for himself. And, yep, finished his own Scotty. This is officially the first time I've ever seen two Scotties build in one game of Dota. A professional Dota, anyway. I've seen it once or twice in pubs, but yeah, Empire now going to move into the Roche Pit, and Fnatic has to pull back, so this will be a free Aegis.
Yep, Scotty's quite good on Morphling if you can afford it because it provides a lot of stats. But yeah, the dire position here is coming into play for Empire a lot too. They've just been able to get a free Aegis every single time, and now cheese every single time they want to. And with a lot of damage from Resolution in particular, it makes it very, very easy.
Looks like the last push of the game could be heading our way right now. Last push of the series potentially, if Empire is able to close it out. Fnatic in quite a hole. Needs a miracle. And I'll tell you what, No Tail may as well be called the miracle worker. He has played, honestly, probably the best Earthshaker I've seen in months. I mean, he has just looked so good. One of the best Earthshakers I've ever seen. And he's just been so effective. I mean, even at the pro level, it's hard to have that much impact on a hero like Shaker, especially whenever you're trailing. And they have been behind a little while now. And No Tail setting himself up, going to move right in. There's the Echo Slam, follows it up. There's the hook to disjoint it, though. Gets the cogs down. Here comes the rock. Trixie going to be hit with a deafening blast. We're going to hear a lasso behind that. No Tail disjointing things with his Fissure, and Hani just trying to kite backwards. Always want to fly, does end up dying behind it. They end up trading away the Veno. Fly using Shadow Wave to keep himself up and flying. There's going to be a good assassination. On to Resolution to pop the Aegis off. Silent, though, still up and standing. Did use the cheese amidst all of it. Another good Fissure, caught 3. And they're going to have to take the long road around or wait it out. Mirana is down, and she does not have buyback, so she's down for the count. Venomancer's in the same boat. Everyone else is still up. They're trying to heal up and extend this game, but don't know that that's going to be enough, as now we're going to see second set of racks drop. No Tail looking for a Fissure. He's actually going to be shotgunned down, and the Assassinate goes off as well. However, Fissure blocked by the Lincoln Sphere, so no way to even really follow that up reliably. Hani's having to stay on the periphery because he knows just how dangerous that's going to be. And behind that, we see another kill as finally No Tail bites off more than he can chew. Shotgun brings down Fly. The adapter strike, even without the F-Blade, he's just hitting so hard with right clicks. And Assassinate onto Vanscore, who is just about the only target still up that would really give a care about that damage. And this is going to be that. Empire pushed a little bit harder. But now the Fountain Diming ceremonial era dies again. Hani's there trying to kite Silent out. He gets one last kill onto the poor Venomancer for a godlike streak to close things out. Took him 43 minutes this time, but the result's the same. Empire rolls for the second game in a row and closes out the series, giving themselves a win that puts them over 500 for the first time in D2L Western Challenge play, improving their record to 3-2, while Fnatic falls to 0-3 and is now in real danger of if they don't get a win in their second series coming up in moments against the Lions. Actually, I'm sure it's probably an hour-ish until that series is up. But if they end up losing both series today, they're going to be at 0-4, and they're basically going to be facing elimination unless they play perfect down the stretch.
Yeah, I won't say much because I know I'm making ears bleed. I'll just say well played by Empire, and interesting draft, especially game one by Fnatic, and I think they played it well. Especially this game, this draft was much better, but just well played overall from Empire.
Yeah, the draft, honestly, when you just looking at Fnatic and the way this game played out, it feels like more so than anything, No Tail and Era just helped them in this game. I mean, don't get me wrong, Honey played well. Trixie had his moments, died way too often in bottom lane, but sometimes you just kind of thrown to the wolves and you do what you can do. Fly was certainly very active, very effective on the Dazzle as well, tallying a 9-7 KD with 10 assists to go with it, so being involved in 19 of the 29 kills that Fnatic posted by the time all was said and done. But really, great play from No Tail and Era. Extended the game. Era finished at an unimpressive 2-6-13, but still had his role to play and was working really well, hitting the sacred arrows off of the fissures. Just still not enough, and that late game potential kicked in hard for Empire, and there just wasn't a whole lot that Fnatic could realistically do to hang on down the stretch. Once again, a 43-minute game, and our first series comes to a close. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. That voice you're hearing on the other end of the line, even though it is kind of pixely and gravelly and not all that pleasant, we'll hopefully get all of that sorted out and figure out what was up with Tralf's mic. He is Tralf You can find him on Twitter at TRALFDOTA. You can also find me on Twitter at AC at AYESEE. You can also find me on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook and a variety of other places under that moniker, ACTV. Make sure you look me up on those too. And for those, I've been getting a lot more requests over the last few days regarding playlists. And that for the longest time, that was actually like the most tweeted thing that I was ever asked was where are my playlists. You can find those on Spotify, by the way, guys. You can look up just me as a user. Just look up AC and you can find all the playlists I've created. And the two we use are AC Streaming and Pretty Lights, etc. Or you can go to my personal stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/ACTV. And down at the bottom, I have links to both Spotify playlists. But for now, not sure what time it is. I'll take a look. Yeah, we're going to have about an hour and 10 minutes until our next series gets kicked off. It'll be Fnatic taking on Alliance in the tail end of our Fnatic doubleheader here today. Dream League's on right now, so why don't you go hang out with them for an hour, and we'll see you back in just a few moments here at the HyperX D2L Western Challenge. We'll be back. See you then, again, right at noon Pacific Standard Time, just about 70 minutes from now. And see if it's noon Pacific Standard Time. That makes it 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That makes it fairly late for our European brothers and sisters. But hope you guys will be back too. See you in a moment.